How are we doing this evening?
I literally feel like I'm home. And I have to keep saying that over and over again, that I am home. We are home. This is home. And even for a black woman such as myself, when I first arrived, just to give you the inside scoop, so you're gonna get in the black woman's head. Are you ready for that? Woo! Thank you, yes! I like you. I'm gonna talk. And so initially, what you do is, in like half a second, you scan the perimeter if anybody else is black. I'm not even kidding. It's like a natural reaction. As soon as I pulled up in ballet, I'm like, no. And no. I was like, that's cool, that's all right. I'm like already terrified and no one's black. Fabulous! Yes, we are ready to start the conference, right? And so I share these things with you because through my journey as a woman, as a human being, as a soul, as a black woman, as a wife, as a mother, I noticed that I've experienced a lot of pain. But through that pain, I've discovered so much purpose. I was even telling Leslie, even this past week, I've discovered even more of my purpose through writing my speech, or whatever this is that I'm doing. Seriously. And so I just want to encourage all of you that we are all broken crayons that still color. And so before I kick off the celebratory night, there's something that I have to do to really make this feel like a homecoming experience. So if you see my hair right here, I have my bun going on, and I love buns. I'm from Orlando, Florida, and it's hot. Hey! And when I say it's hot, it's like real hot. So the only time I'm outside is if I was in my house, then I was outside because I had to walk to my car. And then when I parked at the building, I had to walk outside to the building. Like that's the extent of staying outside sometimes because it's just ridiculously hot, the humidity, oh my goodness. So I love hairstyles where I can quickly just put it up into a messy bun. Now I'm gonna be transparent. Clearly I wanted to impress you guys, so this is not the messy bun. I literally took an additional 2 minutes to wrap this for all of you, okay? But there's a part of the back, if you see, that's still down. And I told you it's hot in Orlando, and I like my hair up. But I always wear the back down. And that's because I have trichotillomania. My hair pulling disorder that started when I was 11. And I have a sweet spot. I don't know if any other of my hair pullers. We have different places. I've done the lashes, plucked the eyebrows, big time. But right here in the back, that's a good spot. Right there in the back. Something about that spot in the back, but we'll talk about why that's a trigger. And so I would pull and pull. And so even though I would have my moments where I didn't pull for a month. Oh my gosh! I didn't pull for 2 months. Yeah! That's my Oprah. Yeah! And you all know, all it takes, one episode. So devastating. I worked so hard. I just did all these coping mechanisms. I'm monitoring how many times I'm touching my head. And then in seconds, there's a patch. And it looks like I've been picking my hair every single day. I walk outside, no one knows that I spent 2-3 months with my hands behind my back. All they see is this patch. Or I made sure they didn't. So whatever style I wear, I always have to cover up the back. Because I didn't want anybody to see that patch. But to kick off this celebratory night, I want to make sure, I have to do this, that I can lift. Can I lift my hair up with all of you? show up knowing that broken crayons still color. So before I start talking about where I'm from, I had to pull the back and I had to make sure that you all could see my imperfections, see my humanness, see me, see all of us. So this song, actually, there's a movie coming out called Ugly Dolls. And it's about these ugly dolls. And they celebrate their weirdness and their uniqueness. And they look a little off, but they love it and they love each other and they're happy and they have genuine peace and joy. Until one day, they step outside and they go to another town. And guess what? In that town, people look perfect. And they begin to struggle with their identity. But Kelly Clarkson came up with that song on the soundtrack, and it says, "You're broken and you're beautiful." She says, "I just want someone to hold me." These words are powerful. "Don't try to fix me. Just hold me." That's it. How many of you have felt that way? With people who don't understand your hair pulling or hair picking disorder? And they have all of this. Listen, I've been married for almost 12 years to an engineer. Okay? You feel my pain? He is so analytical. So as soon as he found out about this, he's online. Hold on. Okay, this is what you need to do. Do this, then this, then this, and X, Y, and Z, and A, B, and C, and 1, 2, 3, and boom. You got it? Are you here now? Are you ready? And I'm looking like, I've been doing it since I was 11. Have a seat, we need to talk. So, I titled this Broken Crayon Still Color, and there's a reason why. When you're in school, remember your Crayola packs, and we're gonna go through that in a second. And don't we love them? They come in that pack, and they're lined up so perfectly together in there. But we don't realize what it took to make that crayon. It was in intense heat and wax, high temperatures, mixing, pressure. Then it goes through machines. Again, pressure, breaking, to finally become a crayon. It didn't just miraculously become one. It had to go through a process. And so many times we want to skip the process. And I realized for me, my process includes pain. And I don't know about you, but I don't like pain. I'm like, is there another way to learn a lesson without having to go through pain? Like, can we skip that part? And life every time says, no, you have to go through it. And that's why I wanted to show you that. Now, as you become a crayon, we struggle with our identity. How many of you sometimes struggle with your identity? I do. Still, 37 years old, married for almost 12 years, have a 6-year-old daughter named Michaela. Whoop whoop, shout out to wherever you are. Eating dinner with Nana, hey. My 8-year-old son, Maxwell. I'm involved in PTAs, help out in the community, active in my local church. And I'm a mess. A complete, utter mess. And I realized the best miracles come from the mess. Comes from the mixing and the pressure, the pain, your experiences. It makes you stronger. I realized, though, the pain that I feel helps me to be a great mother, helps me to be a great wife, helps me to be a great community leader. I didn't have to push it and run from it anymore. So, this is where I'm from. Miami, originally. So before I made it to Mickey Mouse, Orlando, where there's Disney World and roller coasters, I was born and raised in Miami. Sunny beaches, clear blue skies, skyscrapers, yachts everywhere. It's just majestic. It's beautiful. So that's where some people live, in Miami. I wasn't one of those some people. You want to know where I lived? You ready? This is where I lived. This is also Miami as well. And the crazy thing is, it's literally about a 20-minute drive difference. And your whole life will change in 20 minutes. When I was digging up this photo, it brought up so many memories of my past. I remember growing up there as an only child, always seeking out attention, always wanting to talk. I was always a talker. That's how my mom knew it was time for me to get out the bathtub if I stopped talking. Because I created commercials and all kind of stuff. Just talking in the bathtub. And as soon as she heard silence, oh my gosh, is she okay? All those memories in that house. I also remember my mother and father getting a divorce when I was 6 years old in that house. I also remember sneaking out the house from that house. Here, this is a restaurant called Jumbo's. This is where you go, we call it in the hood, where you get the best fried shrimp, fried fish, hush puppies, collard greens, and mac and cheese that you could ever want. And you hang out outside and talk about absolutely everything and nothing, all at the same time. I show you this picture because this was part of my escape plan when I was a little girl. I didn't like being at home. And we'll talk about why. And many of you probably have escapes when you don't want to deal with the reality of your life, and so you run. Sometimes we run to alcohol. Sometimes we run to that favorite reality TV show. Sometimes we run to excessive sleeping. And when I was little, running away meant sometimes going just to Jumbo's. Any kind of way I could just get out the house and escape my reality. This was another escape. Football, that was a big thing in Miami, going to the football games in high school. But I went not because I wanted to cheer the team on, I went because I was trying to run away from so much pain. That's why don't be fooled. Some people are busy, and then other people are productive. I spent a lot of time being very busy. And on the outside, it looks like I'm extremely productive. Look at her. I was in the IB program, AP honors classes. What a star. And I'm broken, guilt-ridden, ashamed, full of anxiety, confusion, and I felt like I didn't have anywhere to turn. This is the backyard of my house. I think our backyard was bigger than our actual house. I'm not playing. I think our house literally was about 1,200 square footage. I don't know what happened. We had little squares everywhere. I think my mom was in one room, and I was in the other, and then there was a kitchen, and that was the house. And then you have the backyard where we probably could have built a mansion if we wanted to. And in there, if you see that tree, that was our mango tree. And I take it for granted now. That mango tree used to have the most delicious, sweet, succulent fruit falling from the tree. No grocery store needed. So much, we would give it away to people in the neighborhood. And then there was ones that would rot on the ground, and we didn't get to it in time. And then sometimes the ones that would rot on the ground, I would get lazy. My mom would say, if you don't pick those up, okay, I'll pick them up. And I wouldn't. And it mirrored my life for a long time. I would see things rotting in my life. I would see it, and I didn't want to address it. I didn't want to deal with it. Why was I starting to pull my hair? Where did it come from? I wasn't born pulling my hair. I didn't start out pulling my hair. That wasn't the first way I started to use my hands. So what triggered that? This is where it starts. If you look at that fine-looking couple right there, that's my mother and father. And my mother is petty. I don't know if you know the definition of petty, okay? That's someone who's purposely trying to make fun of you, but they do it in a real discreet way. So here on the back, my father's name was Boyd, and she says, Boyd and me. And if you look at the bottom, look at that, before Keita. She had to make sure she remembered this was before I had children, and she only had me. But here you have a couple with a promising future. A mother who has her master's in mental health counseling and struggled with drugs and alcohol throughout my childhood. A father who was an overachiever, basketball coach, tennis coach, history teacher, and never home. And these two fell in love, and they had me. You can tell which one is me. Oh, I know, right? You can say that again. And then they had me. And I realized I started pulling my hair when my father passed away. And these were some of our special moments together. So even though they were divorced, they were the best when it came to co-parenting. So one time for all of you, shout out to all of you out there. If you're great at co-parenting, kudos to all of you. We appreciate it. So they were amazing at co-parenting, and so every weekend, that was our time to hang out. And he would spoil me. Not only am I the only child, I'm a girl, hello. So we were at the mall all the time. So Easter eggs, I got all the eggs, everything. See, I don't even think even any other kids came. He was just here. Here's a field. Here's eggs. Pick them all up. It's all yours. So I had everything that I wanted. He made me feel alive. In a world where men are obsessed with how you look and your body image and expecting you to have breasts when you're only 10, it was so refreshing to have a father who just loved me for me, saw me for me, could look in between my eyes and see my soul. And then one night, he was gone. And what was so strange was, we were just playing tennis together. So it was hard for my 11-year-old brain to realize, how do you just finish playing tennis with someone and then they're not here anymore? I'm scratching my head, I don't understand. So this is the picture here when he passed away that week. That's my posse right there. So I'm the only child, but I was connected with some great friends. And I tell you now, to be your best, to deal with the pain in your life, you have to have a great support system. This was my support system. And that day, we didn't go outside to play. My mom said, friends, you gotta go home. I gotta talk to my daughter for a second. And I was completely puzzled, because we had a system. This was before Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat. You go to school, you come home, you put your book back down, and then you run outside. Don't ask me what we did outside. We were just outside. That's what we did. So this was supposed to be another day where we went outside. And that day she said no. She sits me down on the bed in my room. She says, Keita, I have something to tell you. And I'm looking at her like, okay, I was supposed to be outside like 5 minutes ago, so can we keep it going here? And she looks at me and she's like, no, baby. Your daddy passed last night. And I didn't believe her. I don't think she would lie to me. But the information in the news startled me so much, the only way to make sense of it was my mom had to be lying. That's the only way that my brain could compute it and understand it. And finally, I realized this is real. And it's as if my mind, my body just couldn't register what happened. She took me to see a psychiatrist, but we didn't have a good chemistry, so that didn't work out. And I struggled and struggled to make sense of life. How could someone that you love so much be gone? And I know all of us have a traumatic experience in our lives that has shaped us and made us who we are today. My father passing away was that trigger for me. I internalized it as anyone can leave you at any time. You can't tell me I'm lying. Look at my father. He was healthy. He wasn't in the hospital. He was strong. And even though he was so healthy and strong, he's not here anymore. So clearly, there's no way that I can trust that someone's still gonna really be there for me. No, you're not. Nuh-uh. It didn't matter what you told me, or even what you did for me. I just couldn't believe it anymore. And there is where I struggled with my identity. For a long time, I kept trying to figure out, how could I be an 8-pack? And I'm a little girl with a mother who struggles with smoking crack and a father who left her. Because that's how I internalized it. How do you conform to society's standards? What does beauty look like now? Because my dad helped define my beauty. What does it look like now? Where do I get my confidence from? Who do I talk to know who I am as a woman? All those questions I didn't have answers for anymore. And here goes this hand. Right here. That was my answer. Right there. Right there. And I would pull. It became my safety blanket. It became a place of understanding. It became a place of comfort. And then sometimes, I don't even know what it was. It became a habit after a while. But it was personal, and it was between me and myself, and it allowed me to get through my day-to-day life. And all of you, that's all we're trying to do. How can we successfully, every day, not just get through it, but grow through it and be triumphant? That's really what we want. But then when we're pulling our hair, you think, everybody's not pulling their hair. Something must be wrong with, who said that before? Something wrong with who? Me. Clearly it's me, it's all me. Something's wrong with me. Why am I not the 8-pack? That was that standard crayon pack. We said all the primary colors, right? Red, green, yellow, black, brown, blue. Thank you. Why am I not that? 8-packs don't pull their hair. That's what I thought. I don't know, that's what TV, you see people on TV pulling their hair? The movies I watch, they're not doing that. They weren't. So how do I fit into being an 8-pack? And trust me, as a minority, oh, we're really not talking about pulling our hair. At all. Shh. Nobody knows. So then how do I fit? So instead of fitting, I would escape. I went on Zillow. Zillow is so cool. I went on Zillow and I typed in my old address growing up. And you could see all the rooms in the house, right? This was my room growing up. That was the window that I used to sneak outside of that my mom never knew. She never knew. I felt like I got away with a robbery or something, like some big heist. I was like, yeah. And when I say she never knew, I literally just told her maybe about 3 years ago. Like it was on my conscience. I felt bad. Oh, mommy's girl. I felt so bad. We're at dinner one night and I'm like, I just have to get this off my chest, Mom. I just sneak out the house. I said it. And she's like, okay, all right. But the reason why I would escape was because I couldn't deal with my pain. I couldn't deal with who I was. I couldn't deal with not knowing who I was. That's the honest truth. And so I would just run right past my mom's window. Had no idea she was knocked out. That's when my friends would pick me up on the corner of the house, and her window was right there. And if she had the capacity to help me, she would be able to peer out that window and see me running away. But she didn't. And so I had to figure out, where can I go to find my identity? This is me today. This was actually last week, working on the speech and putting all the pictures together. And I said, you know what? Let's take a picture of the eyebrows, okay? Let's put the eyebrows on display, or lack thereof. And so I took this picture here, because it was a journey to get to this place where I realized I did not have to be an 8-pack crayon. My father passing away, it did not have to define me. It just helped create me, teach me, show me things, but it is not all of who I am. All of us are so much more than just one thing. We are not just a mother, a woman, a doctor, a teacher, a student, an athlete. As soon as you begin to attach yourself to one label, you've already missed who you are and what your identity is. And so I put this up here again for me. I needed to see this. I had to say, this is you. You are not an 8-pack. And you were never born to be an 8-pack. Your deficiencies are actually not deficiencies at all. They are what make you so unique. It's what makes you special. I went on Fox News, our local station in Orlando, a couple of years ago for Mental Health Awareness Month. May. Hey! Right? Give it up for May. Yes! Mental Health Awareness Month. And I went on the news and I shared mental health. And for the first time, locally, I said, you know what? Let's just tell everyone in Orlando that I pull my hair. Why not? Let's do crazy stuff. Like here on stage. So I went on the news and I opened up and told everybody that I had trich. And the overwhelming response was so positive. I had women inboxing me saying, I didn't know what that was called. And I do that too. Or I had others inbox me and say, my daughter pulls her hair, and I never knew what that was until I saw your news segment. It's in that moment again, because we all need reminders. Okay? Identity needs reminders. You need refreshing over and over again. After that news segment, that was a reminder again that my brokenness is so beautiful. Had I not gone through these things, how could I help someone else? We are all a part of a much bigger puzzle. And every piece is unique. Every curve and shape that you have, it's supposed to be that way. But it took a while for me to feel like that. I masked and covered up those spots and patches with shame and tears and a hardening of heart. I didn't want anyone to see that. These are the things that I thought about myself before. Everyone say before? Before? Because trust me, it's not now. Before, I used to think I was crazy. And honestly, it's not before. Sometimes now I think I'm crazy. Sometimes I think I'm not good enough. Because if I was good enough, you don't do that. That doesn't look like a person who is whole. And then I realized no one's whole. We make each other whole. That was my epiphany. There is no one person who is whole. United, we are whole. That's why when I came here, even though I was a black woman, first attendee, speaker, and I was filled with so much anxiety when I arrived. And as soon as I talked to another person here, immediately all of that fell like scales. Why? Because we make each other whole. And when you let go of that need to be perfect and to have everything in place, that's when the greatest work can be achieved. In this mess, This is literally what my daughter's pack of crayons looks like. And then she whines and complains that she needs another pack. And I'm like on strike with her. I'm like, no. Even though I have the money, I don't care. I don't want to give you more crayons. Look at this. But the beautiful thing is, after she figures out that I'm not going to the store, at least for a week, okay? Like, I'm not going. She's like, fine, I'll make it work. And you know what? She comes up with some of the best artwork when she works with those broken crayons. She gets real creative. She starts saying, if I hold the crayon a certain way on the side, I can shade differently than I ever shaded before. If I take the paper off and roll it around like this, I can create something I've never created before. Your brokenness, your past, your pain, your picking, your pulling, all of that is part of a creative display of art that you're giving to the world to see. And not just see, but your brokenness heals me. When I see that you pull your hair, it frees me. So that's why I learned not to hide it, to expose it, to show it. The more I show my imperfections, the more my identity grows. The more I feel confident and secure. The more I feel like I don't have to conform to a box of crayons. We don't have to conform to a box of crayons. So through life, I thought I had to be the 8-pack. And you know, as you get older, you go to college, right? I went to Florida State University, go Seminoles. And if anybody knows, when you're in college, that's the time you explore. How many of you explored in college? You don't have to tell me what you did. Don't tell anybody. We can talk about it after. Don't tell anybody. You know, it's like Vegas, you know? Seriously. But you graduate, right? And we're successful and we make a difference. Okay? So during that time though in college, look at this. Totally searching. I look like I'm looking for answers. Okay? I look like, please give her answers to life. Right here. So this is where I'm like the 64 pack. I'm realizing, you know what? I'm special. I'm important. I'm pretty smart. I got accepted into college. I'm free. I'm not at my mom's house anymore. I pick my hair, pull it. But we got this. I'm gonna try new things, experience new things, see new people. But inside, I was still so confused. I still didn't know what trick was then, in college. 19, I still didn't know what I was doing. But I've been pulling my hair since I was 11. So between the ages of 11 to 19, I was pulling my hair and still didn't know what that was. My mom didn't know what it was. She just took me to the hair salon so we can cover it up. That's what we do. We cover it up. We don't go to counseling about it. We don't talk about it at the dinner table. We don't tell our friends about it. Oh, dear God, no. We go get our hair done, and we cover it up. So when I went to college, it was my first time of testing being myself. You ever tested out if I'm kind of different? What are people going to think? Am I a little weird? What do they think? Was it too crazy? So that's what college was for me. I'm testing it out. Kind of different. Did they accept me or not? Okay, I think they accepted it. A little more different, but still had no name to trick. I came across this photo one day. And when I came across this photo, I literally broke into tears. And I'm grown. I'm 20, okay? You think you're like so mature. And I'm like, where are these tears coming from? I have papers to write. I got clubs to go to. Yes. Where are the tears coming from? Why is this picture causing so much pain right now? And I realized it bothered me that he left me. That's how I looked at it. That even though he passed away and it was suddenly, and it's not his fault, it was a brain tumor and he died in his sleep. But as an 11-year-old, even though it's not his fault, I internalized it as, you left me. And when I saw that picture, I was flooded with those memories. And I started putting pieces together and I said, wait a minute, he died then. And I started pulling my hair then. I started becoming my own doctor. I was like, oh. You ever had that? And you have a laptop too? Oh, it's dangerous now. I'm self-diagnosing. I'm like, yeah, baby. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I think they're connected. I don't know how. So then I go on my laptop, or computer, then, yeah, no laptop here. And I'm looking and I'm just like, hair pulling, you know, like let's just see what's out there. We just put it out there into the World Wide Web. Hair pulling. See what comes out. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of information. This is like a thing. There are like other people out there who struggle with the same thing that I struggle with. That in itself gave me so much freedom. And it dispelled every myth that I thought. I thought I was crazy. I thought I was the only person who went through this. Until I looked online and I realized, we're all broken. I was like, yay! That's how this conference feels. When I look at all of you, I'm like, we're all broken together. I'm like, yay! But then until after I looked, I was like, okay, I don't know what to do with all that information. That was fun while it lasted. Whee! Self-awareness. And then afterwards, I didn't know what to do. What do I do with this information? So I saw a counselor for a little while. That fizzled off. Didn't stay consistent with it. Then, as I graduated from college, I realized I needed therapy. I needed to talk to someone. And so I made sure that I kept therapy as one of my coping mechanisms, always. And I made a decision that I wasn't going to run anymore. I didn't want to run. I was tired of running. And I didn't want to just be a 64-pack either. I want to grow. So fast forward, way fast forward. This was 2016, and I launched my first book, Fabulous and Faithful. And it was huge for me because I'm still broken. I still get confused. I still think I'm crazy at times. I still cry when I feel like I'm not good enough. I still think somebody else could do something better than me. I still think sometimes, why me? And then I remembered, why not? But here is one of my favorite pictures because I'm looking at the audience and looking at their expression and seeing how much life is in their eyes. Pure joy in their eyes because of me. But not me. I want you to understand my brokenness. Nothing changed. The revelation for me was that it's okay to be broken. That was the truth. That was the breakthrough. I'm not here to tell you if you do 1, 2, and 3, you're cured and good to go. I'm here to tell you you're going to be broken today. You're going to be broken when you leave here tomorrow. But that has nothing to do with the amount of purpose in your life and the amount of impact that you still can make in the lives of others. And that's what I realized with myself in this picture. That actually all the brokenness that I have, I'm able to use that and help other people. And before, I never thought I would be able to do that. I allowed my brokenness to stop me. Rather than allowing my brokenness to fuel me. All of you in here are so amazing. But I don't know if you're like me. When I pull my hair at times, I don't feel amazing. I really don't. And then when you live with someone who loves you to death, and they don't get it either, even after 11 years, he still kind of hopes and wonders if, like, secretly I can just stop. And I tell them, wait on it. See what happens. But it's tough. And I tell you, do not take conferences like this for granted. This is a safe space, a transparent space. And I didn't waste any time being vulnerable when I arrived. So as a life coach, I understand the importance of maximizing your greatest potential. So as soon as I came here and I felt the anxiety, I reached out to people immediately. I know no one. Can you put that together? I reached out to people immediately and I know no one. Okay? I don't care. I don't know anyone. I need help. I need to talk to someone, and that's exactly what I did. Put your hand up in the air right now. We got our other presenter here in the building.
Oh, we know.
Oh my gosh, yes. And let me tell you about this man. We follow each other on Instagram. That's my Instagram buddy. So make sure you follow me at the Dr. Keita Joy. And since we follow each other, I was like, you know what? He's pretty active on Instagram. I'm gonna slide into his DM real quick. So I slid into the DM. Older people, that's when you go into their inbox on Instagram. Okay? Stay with us. You'll get through it. So I went into his inbox on Instagram where you can send private messages to one another. I clicked on it and I was just like, can you come downstairs? And he was like, well, I'm actually working on my speech. Listen, when you know what you want, you don't stop until you get it. Remember that. No, seriously, personally and professionally. If you know what you want, don't stop until you get it. A lot of people, you miss out on what you want because you don't ask for it and you don't go after it. So I didn't stop there. You know I didn't stop there. The average person would have said, oh, that's great. I hope you come up with a great speech. I look forward to hearing it. I was like, oh, okay, well, if you could come down just for like a quick sec. And you know, so awesome. He said, sure, I'll be down in 5 minutes. And between him and our social media manager in the back right there, give her a shout out really quickly. They both came by at the same time and sat down with me, and tears welled up in my eyes. I didn't even know why I was tearing up. I was just tearing up. I was like, oh my gosh. It was like sensory overload. So much to take in. So much beauty to take in. But nevertheless, a lot to take in. But I was proactive in finding support. That is how we become whole. And I realized, in addition to support, you want to make sure that you do you. And I'm going to talk about my success prescription, and it's there on the table. So before I do that, look at this picture here. And I want you to see both because I want you to know we can live in duality. It's not one or the other. All of you is a success. All of it makes you who you are. So if you look here, listen, we're with, you guys are family, right? Are we family now? I didn't feel like family just now. Are we family now? That was not a good wig that day, okay? It's not my best wig. And so one of the things that I do to still look professional while dealing with Trick is I do have an assortment of fabulous wigs. This does not happen to be the most glamorous one, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But I'll show you this here because with everything that I struggle with, it seems like people gravitate to me even more when I show them my weakness. Did I just say that? Oh my God. The more I'm honest and open and vulnerable and transparent and humble, all those things that are so exhausting to do at times, those things, the things I don't even like doing with my husband at times, we have to talk and work this out and be honest and open. But I notice when I do that, I feel so free. But it's just getting to the other side and realizing that. I feel so free. And I'm even more connected to people more than ever when I'm honest and open and vulnerable. but I will say with the right people. Honesty has to be coupled with discernment. And you have to know your tribe. Who's your tribe? Who is in your success circle? And once you have that support, you're able to live in duality. You can pull your hair, pick your skin from time to time. That has nothing to do with how beautiful you are. And literally, I don't know if you've thought like this, in my mind, I would think, Keita, if you pull your hair, you can't be that beautiful. If you pull your hair, people aren't gonna like you. But every time I gather up enough strength to open my mouth and speak and share my truth, all I receive is love. It just takes taking that step, you know? That initial step of transparency, that initial step of vulnerability. And once you do it, you feel free, inch by inch, step by step, moment by moment, day by day. I was free, and then I continue to grow day by day. So here's a mixture, wrapping it up. I also do corporate training. And in my freedom, I realized, just in general, when you are your authentic self, all people are gravitated towards your authentic self. If you like comics, Marvel movies, The Walking Dead, whatever it may be for you, if you have whatever fetish or certain hobbies or certain books that no one else reads except for you, you are still so special and so unique and so valuable and wanted and appreciated and needed. And once you understand that, that's how you can turn your pain into purpose. In all my mistakes and mess, that's how I'm able to help the most people. So this part, you guys are going to help me with this. So I came up with a success prescription. And as a life coach and a corporate coach and speaker, success was big for me. My father, he was, I told you, such a high achiever. I'm like, when did you breathe? I don't even know. All the sports he was a part of, coaching, being a teacher, he was committed to excellence. But I realized I didn't want to be like my father. I love my mom. I don't want to be like her either. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't want to be like you either. Sorry. Not sorry. I want to be like me. I want to show up and be me. And be the best version of me. That's all I want. And that has to be good enough for anyone who's going to be in my circle. It may not be good enough for someone else, but if you're going to be in my circle, it has to be good enough for you, being me. And so through that, I developed a formula that has helped so many different corporations and just my girls that I talk to. Do you, do it well, and do it consistently. But before you can do anything well, you first have to figure out who you are. Who are you? What do you like? What do you believe in? What are your values? What do you stand for? What's important to you? You have to know that and stand by it. Once you do that, then you can focus on doing it well, doing those things in excellence, and then making sure that you do it consistently, sticking to it. So I want all of you to say, do you? Do you? Yes! Say it again. That's my little friend over there. Do you? Do you? I heard another little friend over there in the corner. He was like, do you? I was like, yes! But you have to be willing to do you, even when doing you is terrifying. Even when it's scary. Can you still do you? Yeah. That's where it's tough. Coming here was a true testament of me doing me. I was scared. I even prayed in my hotel room with my friend before I came down here. And it was so worth it to show up and do me. And I realized it's not about how you feel. And that's the issue. We focus so much on how we feel, and however we feel, that must be who we are. You are not how you feel. You are who you say you are. You're not how you feel. I'm glad I'm not. Because if I was how I felt 5 minutes ago, I am not that cute. I'm just telling you right now. We're not how we feel. Learn how to speak life over yourself. Life over your hair pulling and hair picking disorder. Life over all of it. All of it makes us a beautiful mess. That's how we're able to live our best life, when we can live it together and live it in transparency and honesty. And so I just want to close out, and all of you remember that broken crayons, they still color. And not only do they still color, they create things that aren't even crayons anymore. That's the whole point of it. If you look back, they make makeup, lip gloss, candles, I mean all types of things. And these are all things made from broken crayons. So a lot of the pain that you feel and the frustration in your life, it's not because of the trauma. It's the belief that you've associated with the trauma. Once you can get over that and know how amazing you truly are despite what you go through, you're able to make way more than a crayon. That's touching the surface. You're meant to use your colors and brokenness and experiences and create something so special that it even shocks and amazes yourself. So I want all of you to leave this conference with success. And success starts in here. Listening to your truth. Being up here on this stage tonight has been a gift like no other. Your presence, your energy, your engagement, your love will last with me forever. I thank you for having the courage to own who you are unapologetically. Because of that, I was able to come here tonight and own who I am unapologetically. I'm a first-time attendee. And I'm hearing this thing. How long has it been going on? 26 years. You all have paved the way for people like me who had shame and guilt and confusion and terror muster up enough courage to show up and to do it, and to do it well, and do it consistently. And if you look on your tables there, you have a sheet that you can use later. I'm a coach, I can't help it. I love giving life application tools that you can take with you outside the conference. And so if you look at it really quickly, it breaks down the success prescription. And the first part is, I want you to define success for yourself. That is the critical error that many of us make. You don't even know what success looks like in your life. You're still riding on what your mother said success was, what your father said success was, what your teacher said success was, what Google says success is. Or if we're really honest, whatever Instagram post and hashtag of the day says success is. But do you take time to quiet your mind and get still and figure out what's success for yourself? And you're never too old to do that. My mom is 67, and she's been 6 years now clean and sober. Give it up for my mom. And I love my mom because right now, let me tell you, she is doing you. She is doing it, baby. Right now, she just published her first book. It's going to be released soon. And I'm sharing that to say that it's never too late to do you. I've met a lot of people, I have different clients, and some of them think once you get older, oh, that's just for young people still got to sort through life. If you're still living and breathing, you got work to do on this planet. You got purpose to fulfill. You don't get off the hook because you're older, so Get to work. Live with purpose. Everyone has something that they can be doing to make an impact. There's no such thing as your glory days. Your glory day is today. This is the day. This is the day. You can't get yesterday back. You can't go back and take that. So that's why I admire my mom. She's been a flight attendant. She's been on the news. She has her master's in counseling. She's worked for school boards in Dade County in Miami. And even though she struggled with drugs and alcohol, she said, hot dang, I'm back. I'm 67. I'm still here. I'm gonna do me. And I want all of you here, whether you're in elementary school, college, professionals, to do you and to figure out what that looks like. And it's scary, but if you hold on to that ride and figure out what that looks like, the freedom is always on the other side. So do you, do it well, and do it consistently. So when you write down there, do you, write down what are your values? What do you care about? What matters most to you? And then think about how can you do that well? How can you do it well? And after you figure out how you can do that well, does that mean you have to practice 3 times a week? Read something 30 minutes a day? Do you have to seek out extra training? Do you have to talk to someone? What does it look like to do it well? And then do it consistently. That is the hardest part of success. People stop so close when the finish line was right there. Keep going. I have a little secret for all of you. I was watching you guys. I was watching TLC. I actually went on your website last year because I was looking, dealing with my shame, not quite ready yet to fully come out, but I was watching, and I was empowered by your stories that were on the blogs, on the website. And I saw the breakout sessions that you all had, and I actually told myself, I said, one day I would love to speak at their conference and share my story. And then this year, it happened. Thank you.